Hello, good morning mga katribu. Welcome to Straight Talk, where we tackle key issues that matter to every Filipino. I'm Chito Lozada.
And I'm Teddy Montelibano. We are live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
So today we're taking a deep dive into one of the country's most dynamic sectors, real estate. With shifts in demand, new infrastructure, and post-pandemic recovery, understanding property trends has never been more important.
Joining us are two experts from Colliers, Philippines. First, a young analyst whose insights help investors, developers, and home buyers navigate the changing Philippine property market. Mr. Brent Cristian Respicio, analyst
Brent.
for research.
And with him is Engineer Ronald Cadapan, a mechanical engineer and LEED accredited professional who specializes in sustainable building practices and office landlord representation, offering an engineering perspective on how green development shapes the modern workspace.
Good morning, Brent and Engineer Ronald.
Hi guys.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us here in Straight Talk. Thank you for your time, and we hope to be informed about and be enlightened about this, what's happening in your field of expertise. No. So, okay, I think the first question that we would like to ask.
There.
Yeah. Colliers often notes that developers are wise enough to tune out political noise. There's a lot of political noise,
There's a lot.
as you know, as you're maybe aware. As an analyst, how do you differentiate between genuine legislative policy risk that warrants adjusting a market forecast and mere short-term political rhetoric?
So I think basically we're really data-driven. So all biases aside, in fact, we're trying to be apolitical. We're trying to set aside political issues in the country. So we're really basing our forecast and outlook on data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has it really affected the political noise? Has it affected the
Only
property
specific
sector?
markets. Like when, let's say, the luxury market, the high-end residential
The high-end,
developments. I think that's one that was really affected by the recent noise on the flood control issue. But other markets, I think, are not affected by it. Particularly the mid-income market we're in. The buyers would come from OFW households, young investors, so they're not really affected by those types of political news.
As long as they have the
The
funds
money.
to buy, they will buy.
Money.
You know, because I guess they're looking out for their own needs, no?
Yeah.
But the luxury market, you see the people. Never mind. Before I say something objectionable here.
There are certain
but-
cases that there are some submarkets in which these noise are primarily just impacting the tempo, the speed of these developments and marketing these, but not exactly stopping the development from happening.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In your experience, has there been what are people thinking about now? They're looking for middle income, as you say. So what are these? Are these condominium? Are this what kind of types of residential, or what type of units are this that people are interested in investing in?
So that would depend, sir. We have middle income condominium units. So for example, here
In
in
urban areas, here in
in
are we
Metro
talking about the
Manila.
National
Metro
Capital Region? Are we talking about Metro Manila? or-
Metro Manila and outside as
And
well.
outside.
So for example, here in Metro Manila, what you could really categorize under the mid-income condominium market are those that are catering to a niche market. So for
What?
example, niche market. So for example,
market.
niche
Niche
market.
yeah.
So for example, students, so a lot of them would be buying units in those condos that are near universities.
Okay.
So that's a major demand driver. But for outside of Metro Manila, most of them would buy it for end use. So house and lot only. So what's attractive for residential end users are those that are located in Southern Luzon and Central Luzon. So because of their proximity in Metro Manila, given the expressways, then there's the railways that are incoming as well. So basically, they're banking on the improving infrastructure. So because of the proximity to Metro Manila, they won't have uh, to drive into Metro Manila, which is very congested right now. So they would rather go to less dense locations. And basically, me, I live in Laguna. So
You live in Laguna?
I live in
Where in
Laguna,
Laguna?
Santa Rosa, sir.
Santa
Santa
Rosa.
Rosa.
Santa Rosa now is normal, di ba?
It would take about 1 hour for me to go from Laguna to Makati. So, but if
It's the same, yeah.
I'm in Makati to Makati, sometimes it would take me 1
You got
hour.
1 hour from Santa Rosa to Metro
Maka-
Manila, then
yes.
1 hour in the traffic going to
Makati to Makati.
No, I mean to the EDSA, going to Quezon City.
So basically, it's
all.
almost the same already when you're living in the suburbs and when you're in Metro Manila.
There's a lot of development in Santa Rosa, no?
Yes.
But do people buy or are people leasing?
Both. So there's both a buyer's market and an investor market as well.
How about the dispersion of the developments? Are they still concentrated in the urban areas, or?
I think that's a very good question because what we've seen at least in the past, or for the whole 9 months of the year, is that there has been an increase in transactions outside of Metro Manila.
Outside
And
of
there's also been a number of big developments, not just a single building, but sometimes even a master plan. And those are happening outside of Metro Manila. Obviously, there's no more space, that much of a space to cater a master plan development within the Metro.
Land banking
Really
outside.
congested, no?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
So there's been a number of properties in Cavite, and I think there's also one in other
Laguna.
provincial
Laguna.
tractions
Laguna.
would
Batangas.
increase. Even in the
Pampanga.
south, right? Even in the south.
Not in the north, no? The north is not
More
as...
of Pampanga and Bulacan. But the MRT-7
Yeah.
and the Bulacan International Airport, those would be really game-changing
Yeah, so,
infrastructures.
but wow, that's gonna be a long time pa. Bulacan, the
Next
Bulacan
5
Airport.
to 7 years probably.
Yeah.
How about in the Visayas? What are the
Besides the
centers
Mindanao.
of
There's a lot of
development?
traction in Iloilo, Bacolod,
Cebu.
and we're also looking at because there's still a lot of untapped talent potential in Bohol, even.
Bohol.
Yes, even in
CDO
Bohol.
as well. In
Cagayan de
CDO.
Oro, sure. Cagayan de Oro is quite it's a busy center. To be sure, but a lot of belongs there. What about in Mindanao?
Yeah, even I just missed it out. In Davao, a lot of big developers are catching up because Davao has been in a single-digit vacancy for
Quite a long time.
for the longest time. It's very hard to find a substantial amount of office space if you wanted to take, say, for example, 5,000 square meter. I think most of the completions would happen by next year. So there's very, very few options if you wanted to have a huge space. Even the vacant ones, sometimes they're gonna be taken up by an existing tenant.
Okay.
About foreign investors, like the have the BPO boom tapered off, or are they still a driver of?
There
growth
are
in the
still a lot
foreign?
expanding. So
Yes.
new
BPOs,
profiles.
huh? The BPOs.
New profiles. So from healthcare.
Yes.
Healthcare.
Healthcare has been really booming since last year.
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
What do you
Healthcare,
mean healthcare?
That's
The-
surprise. Huh?
it's an industry within BPO, or like the expertise rather within the BPO, to which Philippines has been gaining traction
I know, but
since
I mean,
last year.
The healthcare sector is buying property.
They're taking up office spaces.
Office space.
Yes.
So there's a lot. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
These are the transcription, or did they really offer healthcare services?
For the operations, I think that would vary per account that the BPOs will be taking in. Yeah.
BPO pa din.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
still under outsourcing.
It's outsourcing. Yeah.
If I recall correctly, there are some markets outside Metro Manila which are very attractive for for these healthcare sector to take advantage of because of the forte of the schools of the universities within those areas focusing really on healthcare.
Yeah.
But there's no office space available.
Yeah.
That's why
Outside Metro Manila.
yes, outside Metro Manila. I think there's some of them are far north even.
Places like Bacolod and Iloilo.
Yes,
These
they're
are-
attractive for BPOs, and that's why developers are also building now condominium projects in those areas, because a lot of those who would purchase condo units would be the BPO employees, so those working nearby.
But that's comforting
Yeah.
comforting to hear, because I thought, for instance, with the ascendance of Trump into power, he was saying, America first and everything, and he doesn't like business. Oh, yeah, American businesses doing business outside of the United States. So, but that doesn't, the policies of
The Keep Call Center, right? The Keep Call
Yes.
Center Act,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we've been monitoring that. So we're still same as the previous one that has happened when he was first elected. There were a lot of
A lot of
threats,
talks.
right? There were a lot
2016,
of,
yeah, okay.
but hasn't really impacted. So
But it seems more aggressive now, no?
yes,
It seems more aggressive
Than
now
before.
compared to there are no more, there. Again, I think the second lease in power has told him, I don't want to listen to anybody. I just do what I want. Damn, please.
he's done testing what
Yes,
waters.
no more
right?
watchers. Nobody, everybody that around him are just, yeah, okay, just do what you want. Anyway, but with that, is that something that you're factoring in? I mean, in your research, the possibility that there might be that there might be restrictions in.
It will depend on how the
growth.
policy will be
Will
implemented.
affect.
Yes. So that's what.
But so far, wala.
So far.
So far, wala.
So far, he's busy attacking Venezuela and bombing ships out of the sea. Sorry.
So does that weigh more the external factors rather than the foreign periods of heightened political instability here in the Philippines?
So I think it would really depend on what type of political issue we're currently facing it. Like, for example, Trump's tariff rates, which he imposed when he
that's
came into
another
power.
factor.
So it's a mixed bag for the property. So I think it's been impacting the industrial sector right now because a lot of manufacturers are planning to expand or move out their operations from China because of the high tariff imposed by Trump on China. So
and possibly moving in here.
yes, and they're investing here in the country. And then BBM also signed into law the extended for land
Yeah,
lease sold
99 years,
for to 99 years. So that's also
That's a
attractive
positive,
to a lot
yes.
of
The
manufacturers
the property
because
sector.
they're looking into countries which have extended land lease terms. Hotel players as well. A lot of foreign brands are entering the country.
Really?
Because of this new policy.
Yes.
Because of the new policy, okay. So, yeah, tourism in the Philippines seems to be, I think it needs to be really perked up compared to,
show.
I have a cousin who's working with government tourism, and she was just in a tourism market fair in Singapore, and Japan has no booth Because
No.
Japan with
They
30
don't have to
million,
promote anymore.
sabi na, stop, no more, we don't like anymore.
Yeah, we're
While
really
all the other Asian countries like Allah struggling.
we're really lagging in terms
It's
of
a happy
foreign
problem.
arrival. So that's one thing that the government has to work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the maybe what do you think is the problem? Why? I mean, from your sector,
I
what is your
think
perspective?
it's really
Mahal,
infrastructure.
eh,
Because
no?
when you go, when you land in NAIA, you basically have to book a Grab or a taxi to a hotel where you're staying in, and it's very expensive. Compare when I recently went over the past 2 years. I recently went to Singapore and Hong Kong, and it's very convenient since there's a lot
Yeah.
of buses, trains already.
And yeah,
Hindi,
right.
ano,
Very cheap.
From the airport.
From
Yeah.
the airport.
Yeah.
It's connected already.
sila
Correct.
connected.
Yes. Well, but
We
look,
don't
look at
have
Narita.
that.
If you land in Narita, it will take you about $100 or more if you take Uber to go to your hotel in Tokyo. But anyway, but then Japan is Japan.
Yeah.
Wow,
People
you know.
spend that to go to Japan.
Yeah, I mean nowadays they really don't really welcome more than they have. No? Anyway,
So the 99-year lease policy would be a good thing for the property sector.
Yes, particularly for industrial and hotel players.
Yes. Do you think the government is giving incentives to property, or enough incentives for development in that sector?
I think one of the major problems in our property sector is that it's basically reliant on the private sector. So if you compare it to other countries such as Singapore, so they're giving subsidies in order to build up condominium vertical developments. But in our country, it's really reliant on the private firms and developers. So that's why when there's this big issue of condominium oversupply, it's really the developers who are getting problematic about it.
Well, yeah.
And in terms of land prices, I always hear that it's like a constant refrain. The property prices are so expensive.
Yes.
Expensive.
I mean,
In
even
Makati,
compared to other urban centers.
for example, in Makati, we recently closed 1.5 million per square.
Per square.
My
Yeah.
goodness. It was at Forbes
For a
Park.
prime property.
I think that's less in Forbes. I think it's more. No. Oh my God.
So,
Jesus. But
we
people,
come-
nonetheless, people are still buying. There's still market. There's still a market
Yeah.
for that kind of
before you answer that, we need to go to a commercial break.
Yeah, okay.
And this break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingby Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito Lozada and Montelibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
This November.
We're back, mga
November
katribu.
version of the big one.
So we're still here on Straight Talk with the guys from Colliers. So about the infrastructure continuity, large infrastructure projects are crucial to property development. How does political bickering or administrative change affect the project pipeline, contractor confidence, and overall timeline for infra that supports key growth areas?
I think we can all see it that it only by default it slows down everything.
Every time there's a transition.
Every time that
But that's only temporary, I guess.
temporary, yes, yes. So it's really a slowdown overall, right? Like when you target a completion within 5 years, obviously there's going to be like an
A
extension.
delay.
There's going to be a delay because they will have to. These contractors will have to address the issues first before doing the actual work. Right?
But then the policies of the new government and all that.
Yes.
But,
And
okay.
the fact that, I mean, I think we've seen the efforts to increase the number of infrastructure projects, even though I think there's still some opportunities to boost them further. But even that existing number of projects that we have being slowed down, so it really is being hampered by all these political issues.
Were there a lot? Were there a lot of development? How would you compare the development growth in the past administration compared to the current one?
I think right now, developers are really hampering their launches. So they're tempering it, slowing
tempering,
down
okay.
their launches because of the POGO ban. So during the last administration, there's a really drive to launch more projects because
to
of the
accommodate-
POGO demand,
to accommodate
to
the
cap-
POGO demand.
to capture the POGO demand. But since the pandemic and since the POGOs left the market, there's really we've seen based on our numbers, there's a slowdown in terms of launches and in sold units.
What do you think should the government do? I mean, what would replace the POGO growth, or the POGO factor?
I think
Do you
because
think? Yeah.
POGO is basically a fake demand driver since they came. So post
Temporary.
I mean,
pre-20
fake because it wasn't supposed to stay.
because it drove demand unorganically. So I think we just
Unorganically.
have to wait for the market to settle in and have an organic demand because during 2016 and previously there's been an organic demand in the market. So maybe 20,000, 30,000 condominium units sold in Metro Manila, and then when
Pre-POGO.
POGO demand came, that's when it spiked to 50 to 60,000. And then during the pandemic and in the POGO ban, it slowed down. Really slowed down. In fact, in one quarter, we've
Slump
recorded
talaga,
less than 100 of condo units sold in Metro Manila. So that's a very big slump. But now it's fortunately improving. So
Improving
for
because of what? What's driving it?
What's driving it?
the promos that are applied by developers.
Promos by
The price
The
cuts.
developers, the price cuts,
Price
discounts,
Promos in terms of
extended payment
yes,
terms.
yes.
Yes,
Payment
correct.
terms.
So that's organic.
That's I think one of the major concerns for that is it needs to be sustainable
Yes. So
because
that means,
for example, developers would implement anniversary promos like 50th anniversary, but for the next year they can't already implement that.
it has to be sustainable.
It has to be sustainable to sustain the demand.
But the only I guess the only one of the major reasons for or drivers there would be to grow your income, to grow
yes,
people's
correct.
income because that's organic, as you say, diba?
Yes.
Oh, that's parang that's
Because of
a
the
whole
discounts.
that's a whole mix of factors that you have to take into consideration.
Yes, correct,
But you
sir.
have to perk up the market.
I think we mentioned that in our previous quarterly report. What we think is the disconnect between this the pricing, at least for the first half of the year, versus the take ups, because there's been a lot of backouts, is the mismatch in terms of the cost and
The
income.
The income.
Right?
We have a data, we showed the data before wherein condo prices would grow by 10% to 15% annually since 2016. But income only grew by 3% to 5%.
Yeah.
So there's really a disconnect with
Correct,
that.
yeah.
So your income needs to grow as fast as the property prices in order for it to catch up.
And also because your only market, basically, I mean, the only lucrative market you have are that market, the OFW market,
Yeah, that's one of
BPO
the
too.
major BPOs as well.
and the BPOs as well. Yeah. Are those enough?
Not really. So there's really something that
So
the,
there's a really huge vacuum left by
the POGO.
POGO.
Wow. You're not worried about that.
Yeah, of course we're worried about it. We've seen it on our numbers. The figures are really down, but luckily they're picking up. So for the first 9 months of this year, we've recorded about 11,000. So if you compare it to the peak POGO demand, which I mentioned earlier, 50,000 condo units being sold, that's very far.
Grabe.
But maybe 20,000 to 30,000, that's when we could say that the organic demand is back.
So have we reached that now?
30,000.
Have we reached those numbers already? Have we
Yes,
reached that
sir.
level? We have.
30,000. So the industry is often focused on key pending legislation, such as the National Land Use Bill or the Condominium Redevelopment Act. What specific piece of pending legislation do you believe poses the biggest current risk or opportunity for the sector?
Yeah,
Right.
great.
Among these legislations, I think it's we mentioned about the legislation outside the Philippines, right?
Outside.
I think those poses the bigger risks that we have to monitor more than the
Those that are in the
existing.
country.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
okay.
I think
Okay.
for whatever credit they deserve, these bills that are being proposed by our government, they're there to help,
To
right?
benefit.
Yeah, to benefit. But are these benefits enough to actually address the potential risks of the external policies? That's the bigger question, I guess. Because we think it's better to monitor and manage the risks driven by the outside, the external.
But the government has been there's a big push for governments for the direction of legislation, or rather for legislation to address, or to attract foreign investment in the country. With that, I mean, if there are a lot of foreign investors coming in, then that would mean, them rent or leasing property, leasing space. And if you look at PEZA, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority figures, I don't know whether these are hyped up or what, but it seems so encouraging. They're talking about thousands of investment approvals. I don't know whether, are you monitoring that?
We also monitor that. I think what you're mentioning, the big amounts that would come from the renewable energy sector, which takes about a very long time to materialize.
Yes.
So, 20, 30, or maybe 50
They
years.
just had PEZA just had a big, like a, yeah, the article of Rafi was talking about Malaysian or something, coming over and all that. I don't know whether these are pending or. But it's PEZA. It says investment approvals.
Investment approval.
They've approved it, but whether they have put in
yeah.
the
Place.
investment already, that's in place. That's another thing.
That's a question. How
Those
long
are
will
not-
that materialize?
There's a just yeah. There's a
Expression of
transition.
mostly those are expressions of interest to invest.
Yeah, but
But
when
it
Yeah.
could take time before those
Yeah. To be fair, there
they
are
realized.
a lot of efforts, and I think they've been successful, right? We've heard it from PEZA themselves that there's been a lot of traction, especially even with the industrial
Manufacturing.
Yes.
manufacturing. There you go.
That's
Manufacturing.
really
Manufacturing.
important.
So they've been successful in terms of securing, but as you said, when are we gonna see them in fruition? That's
Yeah.
the bigger question.
When you're gonna start building the facilities and all that. No?
I think the
But-
government.
To be fair for the manufacturers, it would only take them around 1 to 3 years to build up a facility. So manufacturing would take a shorter time frame to materialize as compared to the renewable energy ones.
All renewable energy will take
Would really take decades.
Yes. And they're not just. Are there a lot of renewable energy firms that are expressed
None
interest?
really.
I can only locally there's Ayala with Accent and the
That one
Aboitiz,
of,
Aboitiz
yeah,
equity here.
But the
Aboitiz
more
Tower.
the more it has to be
and
secured
also
now.
maybe I guess Lopez. First,
But the more it has to be secured now, especially that we can see that it's not very easy to implement, right? Just to make sure to secure that secure that investment. And I think the government has to be more strategic in terms of looking at other sectors apart from renewable. Yes, we haven't gone into that. We want to secure it now. Even I think there's been a very good demand for data centers. And
Data
that's
center.
another
Yeah,
that's
that's
another
another,
one that I think the government can look into how to really
secure
get
that.
them here.
Investment.
But
would
the
go to
major
the-
risk on data centers are the power cost because it's really
Yeah,
expensive to
power,
keep
yeah.
up that much
Take
power.
up a lot of power. Yeah.
But it's another problem.
Do they also require space? A lot of space
Yes,
to install the to construct these centers.
that's why they would prefer sometimes industrial parks because that would offer massive land spaces.
Spaces.
But are you involved in that?
I think
Industrial parks,
we're involved in
industrial
parks.
estates.
We have our capital markets team who basically handles industrial transactions. Those warehouses for lease, and they would look for manufacturers who would locate.
And then
Within industry.
housing for the foreign employee.
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
hire foreign consultants and for
Right. Yeah.
especially during the first years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So we do
There's-
have a residential team to
There's a
help those
question sent
requirements
to
as well.
us. Maybe you
Yeah.
can ask.
Residential markets and historically now, how major political events such as midterm elections correlated with shifts in residential demand, specifically among OFWs who typically represent a stable source of demand. Was that the question?
I guess so.
So we have a data backing that
Those
there's
statement. Sorry.
there's really a spike in terms of election period and in condominium sales. So we've observed that in 2022 presidential elections as well as 2016. The midterm not as much, but there's also quite an uptick. But you could really see a spike during presidential elections.
Why so?
Why so?
Yeah.
Can we say that with being political? But anyways, I think the funds that are really circulating
Okay. Because there's a lot
The
of
election-
there's a lot of money
election
going
money
around in the
market.
economy. Yeah.
Which came from
Okay. I wouldn't know.
Lots
I mean,
of
both
projects.
or whatever parties. Yeah, but the fact is this is money in the system. Yeah.
Who
So,
cares?
okay. Yeah, right.
Came
Right.
from-
Okay.
About ease of doing business, Ron, what concrete changes to the Ease of Doing Business Act, or other related
really-
reforms to the Colliers research, so that's you, Ron, suggests are most necessary to significantly unlock real estate investment and development?
Well, there's a lot of the IPAs are I think of course the idea of having these different IPAs are already good in terms of having options for the investors, right? But we still get a question whether why would you go for this IPA over the other, right?
IPO. Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of differentiation, I guess would really help, and I think we've supported several events to which provide more information in terms of which one would be better to go to. But what we could do, if you're asking us, like what we could do in terms of research to provide them is perhaps go to the actual figures, right? Go to the numbers, because these are what's really important for these investors. Like how much really would it save me to go for this IPA over the other?
Yeah, Manila is coming up, no? It's a
And
big one. It's a big
I,
IPO.
I
Manila.
think just to add to that, one thing that's really need to be addressed is the documentation and cost in setting up a business in the Philippines. Like for example, when you go to Singapore, when you decide to set up a business today, you could basically set it up the next day. But for the Philippines,
that can't
there's
happen.
a lot of documents.
So there is now ease of doing business
yes,
still.
so
And
that's
they are
really
that is of doing business.
The ease of doing business
not
law
really
or
helping
measure, the legislative measure, it's not quite effective.
For what it's worth, it is an attempt. It has
This is the
the
frustrating
aim is
thing.
to improve.
This is
So
the
it is an
frustrating thing.
effort,
Look,
but
investors have been asking since how many administrations already?
Oh,
Now,
I guess
start
the
of
question
the-
now is, what's their benchmark when they construct these programs, these acts? Like,
Yeah.
what's their baseline in terms of how to actually do it or put it into action? Right?
Put it in,
I hate to say this, but that corruption factor has to be really, the government really has to be serious.
really needs
Because
to be
a lot of
addressed.
this,
holding up
a lot.
the
Why are
processes.
these proposed measures are not flying? It's because the people, the people on the ground are the ones retarding it.
money.
So anyway, I think, well, never mind. That's my own. That's my own take
And
on
it's
the matter.
correct. So
Yeah.
looking ahead, what is the single most important real estate policy issue that the next administration or this administration must address to ensure the long-term stable growth of the market,
Philippine property
property
market.
market?
Curb corruption. Curb.
You want to go first?
I think they already said it, the corruption issue. It's one
Corruption
thing that's
issue.
really need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of the stance or what political party which our next president might belong to, it's really to benefit all the Filipinos.
Yes.
So infrastructure, improving income, so that would spill over to the property market already.
As you probably are aware that the Philippines, as the chairmanship of the ASEAN has been handed over to the Philippines, in
Philippines.
2026.
2026.
Is that development something that would perk up your area of concern?
I think that would depend on whether it would really benefit us or not. But hopefully,
Because then that would also maybe hasten the government's efforts in putting up all these
yes,
FTAs.
correct. For us to be more
agreements
competitive.
and getting people in the ASEAN or other ASEAN markets to get interested in the
Yes.
country.
Yeah.
Correct.
And if I may add, apart from the corruption issue, really, I think it's best for the government to make the policy set clear targets. Because
Set clear targets.
yeah, if you read a lot of policies that has been released in the past few years, you set a target for, yes, it's a very good program. But it's a very ambitious target without a very clear path.
Concrete plan.
Yeah, on how to get there, right? So I think the policies in short has to be smarter.
And realistic. So,
Yeah, less broad strokes and more specific.
Yeah.
Less rhetoric.
Sure.
So I guess we have reached the end of our program.
Yeah.
So,
What would be your parting words to our listeners who've been listening to us talk about?
the property sector.
Well, for the property, at least for the office sector,
Yeah.
we've seen very positive movement, a very good pickup from last year, as we mentioned earlier, and we hope this continues. with the government support in terms of lessening the issues that could potentially hamper it.
We talked about.
Yes, to improve the existing structures of the policies, make it clear, make it more realistic. I think it has to simply go back to the fundamentals. These policies that we've been making has to be more implementable. If if I can
That's
make
true.
it a lot simpler, yeah.
What about pricing?
Pricing,
prices?
affordability really
Affordability,
needs to
yes.
be addressed by the. So, like what I've mentioned earlier, the residential market is really picking up. So, buyers and investors are responding positively to the promos and discounts that are being implemented by developers. But yeah, one of the major concerns really is to make this promo sustainable.
Sustainable. Yeah. She said
Great.
that
Okay.
50th anniversary can happen only once.
It only once. So next year, you're already 51st.
Okay.
So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Brent and
Engineer Ronald.
Engineer Ron, for
Sharing.
sharing your valuable insights, helping
need
us
bigger, man.
understand the forces shaping the Philippine real estate landscape.
And thank you, mga katribo, for joining us. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Straight Talk on Daily Tribune's social media platforms.
So until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and as always, keep it straight.
Narito na naman ang inyong lingkod, Manong Joe, para sagutin ang inyong tanong. May tanong tayo mula kay Javier Domingo, isa pong netizen. Manong Joe, paano pag sa Metro Manila tumama ang lindol, handa ba ang Meralco? Ito ang sagot, Javier, at maganda yung tanong mo. Napapanahon talaga na paghandaan ang anumang uri ng sakuna, maging ito'y lindol, malakas na bagyo at kung anuman, sa dami ng kalamidad na nararanasan natin mula sa mga nangyayaring lindol hanggang sa mga pagbaha, malakas na hangin at iba pa, ang kaligtasan ng bawat customer ang prioridad ng Meralco. Tinitiyak namin na ginagawa ang lahat para mapanatiling ligtas at maayos ang aming serbisyo at mga pasilidad. Pinapalitan namin ang mga poste ng mas matibay na gawa sa konkreto at pakal. Inililipat din ang mga poste sa mga lugar na ligtas. Regular na nagsasagawa ng tree trimming at wire clearing ang Meralco para hindi maapektuhan ang mga linya ng kuryente o makayanan ang anumang bagyo o lindol. Nagsasagawa rin ang Meralco ng re-insulation at conductor shielding ng mga linya namin, pagpapatibay ng mga lighting protection system, pati na rin ang pagkakabit ng mga smart device para agad na matukoy ang mga posibleng alalahanin ukol sa serbisyo ng kuryente. Kung kakailanganin, handa po ang Meralco na pansamantalang mag-de-energize upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ng publiko. Kadalasan po namin itong ginagawa kapag tumataas ang tubig baha o di kaya ay napakalakas ng bagyo. Kasama na rin ang uga ng lindol. Pagkatapos naman po ng anuman sakuna, maging po ito'y bagyo o lindol, at may na-damage po kami sa facilities, bumagsak na linya o ano ba man, huwag ho ninyong lapitan. Hayaan ho ninyo ang aming mga crew ang gumawa ng kinakailangan para masigurong ligtas ang pagkukumpuni. Kapag sigurado na po tayo na ligtas nang bumalik sa bahay, siguro po tingnan muna natin ang sitwasyon sa loob at siguraduhin din na yung ating mga internal wiring facilities ay nasa maayos na kalagayan. Bago pa man abutin ng tubig baha yung inyong mga outlet, patayin na muna ang main switch sa bahay at i-unplug ang mga appliances. Kung may electrical hazard, agad itong i-report sa amin sa Meralco sa pamamagitan ng My Meralco app. Nasa social media din po kami, Facebook, at X, yung dating Twitter, o sa Meralco hotline bilang 16211. Pwede din kayong mag-text sa numerong ito. Tandaan mga katribo na sa panahon ng kalamidad, ang pagiging alerto at maingat ay susi sa kaligtasan. Ako po muli ang inyong lingkod si Manong Joe, Saldariaga para sa Ask Manong Joe. Hanggang sa muli mga katribo at sa mga nanonood sa Daily Tribune.